I'm Monica Trusley, and my role at Lockton is a senior vice president, and it's really a sales role. And I've been in benefits for 25 years, health insurance, all kinds of different risk management. And Lockton is a huge global organization with about 9,000 people. I was part of the team that opened an office in Ohio. Lockton had never had an office in Ohio. And this relationship has been great because we've really expanded outside of Ohio. So it's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thanks. So, as you said, Kyle Anthony, and like Monica, I also have a background in the employee benefits space. I'm also with Lockton. Was part of that same team that came in and opened the Cleveland office. So my expertise is a little bit more on the human capital side. So in addition to employee benefits, have a passion and a focus around really helping organizations align their talent strategies with the diversity in the workforce, the changing conditions that we have, and ultimately putting together reward packages that make sense for their needs as well as the needs of their employees.
Awesome, thanks. Well, one of the things about working with partners is often when I first have conversations, or any of our team first have conversations, it's a timing, it's a bandwidth, it's a budget, it's a circumstantial issue. And I know we had conversations, and you weren't with Lockton when we originally started.
That's right.
It took a little while to be able to nurture that relationship. What was the tipping point that you finally made that decision and said, yeah, Connex would probably be a good fit?
I mean, I would say we started the Ohio office March of 20, the year or the week that the whole world shut down. Stupid time to start a new office and a new job, really bad. But I think what we saw in your organization was an opportunity to meet people, because the way we do business is all relationship based. And when the world shut down, it's really hard to meet new people and talk to people. So I think your organization helped us meet people and put us in touch with people and have a relationship virtually, because that's all we could do, even if you were 2 miles down the road in Cleveland. So I think our first opportunities, a lot of them came from your organization, so it was great.
No, absolutely. And I think to add to that, and it took us a little while to get our footing on it and understand how to get traction from it, but if you're a partner organization to Connex and you look at the opportunity here just as, hey, it's a network I can access and start selling my stuff, I think you're missing the point. Some of the greatest stuff that we were able to get out of our partnership with Connex was really your ability to distill what our buyer was most concerned about. And so as we looked at expanding outside of the Ohio marketplace and really getting in touch with what CHROs were staying up at night worrying about, once we started listening to that and really understanding what was important to your base, we were A, much more successful, and B, I think we found that we could add a lot more value. So while it may not have been the intent in the beginning, like as traditional salespeople, our intent was, hey, it's a network and we can help grow. What we really learned along the way was the more that we were able to get in touch with the needs of your customer, we learned from it too, and we were able to use that in other applications of our business outside of Connex.
So one of the things about our relationship, Lockton's a very complex organization. You look at employee benefits, you look at the HR side, right? There's a lot that you do, and I think you touched on it, and I think it's a really good thing maybe if we could dig a little deeper into the fluidity and the just the continued relationship of stepping in and reevaluating, hey, how are we positioning you? What are we missing, right? Because we've done that several times. It's not just, hey, this is a new relationship, send me over, your one sheet and we're gonna get going and just do some matchmaking. It's really trying to understand you, right? Because people have misconceptions and preconceptions about brokers, right? Not all brokers, even different offices and within Lockton are gonna have different specialties. And so that takes time to nurture, right? You bring on a new salesperson, it takes time to bring that person up to speed and really understand the total offering. So maybe if you can speak a little bit to what that process was like with us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we've spent some time refining what it is that we believe are competitive differentiating points for us based on what your customer has said is important to them. But at the end of the day, people still look at us as employee benefit brokers.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to be able to do a great job being really good employee benefit brokers, but your base is sophisticated enough that they understand if the value that we bring is simply a different person to purchase things from an insurance company, really we're not adding any value.
I agree. I think anyone can be a broker. I can get you the best LTD rate tomorrow if you really need that. But I think where the value and why we went to Lockton, leaving a very small organization, was the resources. And I think your constituency has really helped us to learn our own organization, to know, you'll have people ask us about technology. What about HR technology? Well, that's not a broker job, but we have a whole practice that's dedicated to helping people with that. Compliance issues. We have a whole team that can help us with that. So I think what we can offer is a more holistic view of total rewards, compensation, the technology, everything that touches a benefit program.
Yeah, and I think more than ever, HR officers are so unbelievably taxed because it is just growing, it's expanding. Technology, AI, the cultural transformation, there's just so much coming at them. And so as generalists, they, to your point, have the misconceptions, preconceptions. So maybe if you talk a minute or two about the preparation, right, to bring you into those referrals, how we prepare you to be able to go, okay, well, this meeting is around DE&I in your benefits, or this is a comp, or this is, and how that helps you to prep so that you're not walking in being all things broker, but you know exactly what the entrance point is.
Sure. I from my standpoint, I think that Connex's ability to have a good conversation with one of your constituents and understand what their needs are, and then if it's aligned with what we do, help us position what's going to be most important to them, as well as help us understand what type of buyer they are. That's a great starting point for us to be able to go into a conversation. But with what we do, and I think what the rest of your partners do, that's likely not far enough in order for us to do our job and do our job well. I think that we have to do additional research and really understand the opportunity, the company, and some of the issues of their industry.
You guys do a great job of giving us background on what conversation your client had with you to understand what they're looking for. And then it's up to us to kind of dig in deeper to see, who are they with? What vendors are they with? What can we see about them online, and do some research? Because when the call comes, it's usually whatever's on the mind of that HR person that day, regardless of what you're prepping us for. Yeah. There's always that part too, but we have to be on our toes because we're not sure where the conversation's going to go to. And it's also up to us to follow up with people and make sure things are okay and get your feedback on how did our conversation go? Was there something we could have done better or articulated better?
Yeah, that's a really good point because, I might have had a conversation with them 2 weeks ago and the world changes every day, every 2 hours. So sure enough, we could give you the prep and then you walk in and you have to be ready. And I think what's great also about that prep too is, most of the time we're on point, sometimes we're not. And You guys let us know that. Sometimes I don't get all of it because every person is different how much they unveil, and Lockton's a large organization. Point in fact, we just had that with giving you a referral and they were already a Lockton client, right?
Yep.
So it's all about efficiencies all the way around and working as a partner.
Absolutely. And I think for your partners, like us, there has to be a willingness to understand we're looking to build a relationship and add value to Connex. And by doing that, what we find is we're able to establish much greater credibility with an organization. And maybe the opportunity isn't aligned with what we do today, but by having that ability to establish credibility and cultivate the relationship, eventually there could be an opportunity there. And while some of our opportunities together have taken a little while to develop just based on the purchasing cycle, if we do the right things together, we're going to have that opportunity, and that's what's great for both of us to be able to grow.
And maybe that's a good transition into that purchasing power, and maybe we can do a case study of someone that you won business with through Connex, and what was that life cycle like?
Sure. Well, why don't you start with maybe a compensation example of one of the engagements that we've had together, and then we can talk about pharmacy.
Sure. I think we had and I'm thinking of one specifically, an initial compensation project, but we really got to know the HR person, and we brought in our compensation team to work on it. And now that HR person is gone, and I actually saw him today, and he said, hey, if you need any help with anybody else, you guys did a great job, let me know. I want to help you. And I was blown away by that because I was like, this was 2 years ago. He's already on to another job. And that meant a lot to me because it's always hard to ask for a referral, but to have someone say, ask me for a referral. That's awesome. So I think those relationships are amazing.
And I think on the other end of the spectrum, it's also going to be about performance. So we've had a great engagement with one of the larger members of Connex, about 10,000 employees in the United States. And they engaged our team to do some analysis around their pharmacy program. And the long and the short of it is, for them, without even having to change vendors, we were able to cut out about $30 million of spend over the next 3 years. $30 million over the next 3 years. It equates to about $750, $770 per employee per year in savings for doing nothing different. And in today's environment, as we start to talk to other groups who have competing interests internally around where to invest their dollars, for us, if we can help other members find a way to take their existing purchasing process and make it more efficient, like, they're winning, you're winning, we're winning. It's just a great combination. So the case studies are awesome to see. But that engagement specifically, it didn't start with pharmacy. It started with understanding employee communications and culture and all kinds of other things. But with the need, we took advantage of that. So great opportunities all around. But again, I think we all have to start with really listening to what your members need and finding a way to flex what our organization does really well to help them.